Today's video, we are going to be talking about something that I know most parents you might be facing, or maybe you are witnessing, and that is raising bilingual kids, the good side, the bad side, and the ugly side. So welcome, as we're going to be diving in and actually me sharing my experience as a person or as a parent who is raising bilingual kids. Now, raising kids or having kids is a blessing. I normally say like that. It has the good side and also the bad side, but in most cases, it is a beautiful journey. At least for me, it has been a learning journey, a very beautiful journey that I cannot take it like for granted for anything. Raising kids who are also bilingual. Remember, I have 3 kids. So I have 3 kids. My elder son is a Kenyan, and the two younger ones are Turkish. Okay. My elder son speaks English and Swahili. My 2 younger kids, they are into English, Swahili, and Turkish, because their father is a Turkish. So they have to also, like, the environment they are in, it is surrounded, or they are surrounded by people who are speaking more Turkish, and I'm the one who is speaking English. The reason why I'm into for them being bilingual, like for them wanting to speak more than just one language, because remember, I'm a Kenyan. When they go to Kenya, they're gonna be needing to speak English for people to understand them, and also to learn some local language, which is Swahili. Swahili is also a Kenyan language, and when they are here, they're gonna be needing to speak to other people, their family, their grandparents, their aunties, and they are into Turkish. And I've realized that my younger son, he is into Turkish more than English. If I speak Turkish, if I speak English, he understands, he can reply me in some few words, but in most cases, he is speaking Turkish, and his Turkish is more fluent than mine. I don't know why. Maybe because he's a kid, and kids tend to learn more. Now, the younger girl, or my last born, I don't know which language she's gonna pick, but obviously she might pick at speaking more Turkish than English or than Swahili. Swahili, I normally teach them, but not in most cases, but I want them to learn also, okay? Because their grandmother, my mother, who is a Kenyan, she knows English. She can speak English fluently. She knows Swahili. She speaks Swahili fluently. And I want them, when they go to Kenya, so that they can speak and surprise people why, how they are speaking, and just have fun with others, and also for them to actually bond with their elder brother, who is a Kenyan. Hopefully by the end of the year, we're gonna be meeting and them just playing together as kids and learning and stuff. Now, my first point is gonna be the good side of raising bilingual kids. I'm gonna be focusing on these younger ones because they are the ones like we are all together here, raising the kids in terms of bilingualism, like they want to learn more than one language. It has its good side, and in some circumstances or in some studies, they say that kids who are bilingual, who are learning more than one language, they tend to be having that flexibility, yeah, that flexibility to switch into new skills, because they understand one language and the other language. So they will have that exposure in terms of actually just knowing how to switch from one language to another language. So their brains will actually function more than the kids who are just speaking one language. For instance, if they are, let's say they are in school, they have been given a subject to talk about or something to talk about. If they are speaking Turkish, let's say they are speaking Turkish, and they know what is this in English, their brain will switch so fast to understand that this and this is like this and this, unlikely to those kids who are not speaking or who are not understanding what is this, okay, who are actually speaking one language. That's what I want to say. My girl, she's here. She's gonna make some problem. Okay, so that is the very first one. Like, they have that ability to switch so fast to new skills and also learn new things very fast. Okay, now this brings me to my next point, which is actually kids who are bilingual or who are speaking more than one language. They're gonna have that exposure to different cultures, and also they're gonna appreciate different cultures. Like, for instance, my kids are speaking Turkish because they are like, basically they are in Turkey, and the environment they are in, as you all know, or if you might know, Turkey has many cultures, and they're going to have that perspective of learning new cultures. When they go to Kenya, if they are speaking Swahili and also English, they're going to also appreciate Kenyan culture and actually just surround with people, know what is going around, and actually learn more in terms of cultures. Okay, so that is the second one, that I highly recommend you teaching your kids more than one language, because it's gonna bring that cultural appreciation to them. Okay, now when they actually tend to appreciate the cultures, different cultures in languages, these kids might, when they grow up, they might pick up good characters. They might be have good empathy, like, and also just good character in terms of appreciating one another, and also being open-minded. As that's why I'm actually trying my level best to teach them both languages, so that when they grow up, when they are big, they will understand what is going on around the world, and also I'll appreciate and also learn from these cultures. Okay, now coming to number three, which is on a good side. The reason why I'm teaching my kids more than one language, it is because it's going to help them in terms of actually learning new skill, and also learning new, like, talking with other people, depending on the people that they are talking with. If they want to switch to go to Kenya, like in terms of communicating with Kenyan people or Kenyan family, they're gonna have that skills of communication very well, because they already know one language. For instance, if they already know English, which is widely spoken in Kenya, if they know Swahili, which is widely spoken also in Kenya, it's gonna be so easy for them to switch between the languages. Now, when they are here, if they want to speak also English or Turkish, it's gonna be so easy for them, because they will understand what people are talking, and they're gonna actually just adapt to the environment. So they won't have that bad, or they won't have that difficulty in terms of communication. It's gonna be very easy for them. Maybe in future I might pick another language that I want them to learn also, which I'm also learning, but for now I'm trying to focus more on Turkish and English, and a little bit of Swahili, because it is good for them to know these main languages, because in Turkey they're gonna be talking more Turkish when they are at school also. Okay, and English, it is an international language, so if they are traveling, wherever they are traveling, they can quickly talk to people or actually communicate with people so easily. Okay, now, another very good thing about bilingual, or teaching your kids more than one language, it is in terms of future careers. I know this one, I am not the only one. I know this one, even if you are an elder, like, not an elder, if you like a grown up, you have seen most of the time, especially to those people who are into career. When you go to a certain job, you see the description, you understand, and then you are like, this one I must do it, like it is for me. And then when you go to the requirements, one language is needed which you don't know. It makes you feel so bad, even though you have all the skills, you have what they have mentioned, but you cannot speak a certain language. So raising kids who are actually bilingual, or who know more than one language, it's going to help them in terms of career when they grow up. For instance, if they are learning Turkish or they are learning English, they are Turkish, and there is an opportunity somewhere, maybe in their career, and they want people who can speak fluently in English and also in Turkish. They're going to actually have that career development, and it will be so easy for them to actually find a job, or maybe to navigate through in terms of studies and also in terms of career. So that is so Hayır, hayır gel. Come back here. Don't take my flowers. What are you doing? Come sit down. Okay, so that is another point that I wanted to make before I got interrupted by my little girl here. Now we want to talk about the bad side. I know, like I have said, or some of the common things that I have said in terms of actually good side of actually raising bilingual kids or raising kids who can speak more than one side. But we also have that bad side, which is something that I'm also trying to actually navigate through with my kids. Now, the very first one that I have noticed also with my kid, the one who is speaking Turkish, English, and trying to speak some Swahili, it is in terms of confusion. The language confuses them, okay? Sometimes when I tell my son, go and bring for me something in English, he just looks at me. Okay, he understands, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know. Maybe I don't know, but I feel like sometimes I normally confuse them. The languages normally confuse them because sometimes he doesn't know which language to reply to me. Like when I say come, maybe he want to say in Turkish, but because I've spoken English, I'm confusing him, you know. So bilingualism or teaching kids more than one language can also have the side effect or bad side in terms of confusion. I don't know about you. Maybe you can tell me if you have ever been in this situation, and also I can learn from you, and I'll be so happy to read some of your comments, okay? Now, something else that I have to note when it comes to the bad side of bilingual children, it is that they might have delayed language development because they are dealing with more than one language. It's not like they are only focusing on one language, and this can actually make them to have that delay. And I'm not saying that they're gonna not speak eventually, but it's gonna have that little delay in terms of language development. They're going to take some time to understand the words, to actually navigate from one word, from one language to another one language. Just the same as me when I'm learning Turkish, it has taken me almost years and I'm still learning. I'm not even to that stage where I can say I'm perfect in Turkish, because I'm trying to navigate through both languages and understanding what words where to place, and also just to the grammar part. So it's gonna take some time, and you must be very patient with the kids in terms of actually teaching them and understanding that they don't understand particular things. Okay, don't expect bilingual kids to actually just start speaking the language that you want immediately as the other one, the kids who are monolingual. Okay, now another very crucial or very thing that I have seen with raising bilingual kids is that they might favor one language. For instance, my kid now, I see him talking more Turkish than English. So you have that, for instance, if you are expecting him to speak more English, he might not be speaking the way you want, okay? He will actually want to pick the language that he's comfortable with, and also the language that most people are speaking. And I totally understand him, because we are in the environment whereby everybody here speaks Turkish, even the father, the auntie, the grandparents, they don't normally speak English. Okay, so you'll find that this has actually impacted him, or it's gonna impact even my younger girl in terms of actually favoring one language more than the other one. Okay, if I want them to learn another language, it's gonna be a little bit tricky, and also it's gonna be very challenging for them, because they already are favoring one language. Okay, and their minds are almost focusing on one language more than the other one. So that thing is not good for me, because I want them also to speak fluently in terms of actually English and other languages. Okay, something else I have to add in terms of actually the bad side of bilingualism or kids speaking more than one language, it is that In some cases, they might have that thing of actually having just a few words in terms of vocabulary. They have to actually limit themselves to certain words so that they can actually adapt to those languages that they are speaking, compared to the kid who is only focusing on one language. That kid will have more languages or more words to not languages, more words, more vocabulary words to actually use. But I can think, or I want to believe that maybe this is because they are still young, at a younger age. When they grow up, having known more than one language, it's gonna be good for them because they already know the vocabularies, the words. But when at initial, like at this age or at this time, they are still limited to that small vocabulary, just few words here and there, the common words that they are using in their daily lives. So it can be a good thing, and also it can be sometimes not like it can be a bad thing. Okay, so that is number 3 of the bad side. Now let's go to see the myth, or what people normally tend to believe about bilingualism when the kids actually speak more than 2 languages. What are the ugly side, how the society view it, and how to actually navigate through everything. How can actually improve our kids, or how am I improving my kids to actually not be influential by this myth. Now, coming to the ugly side, I know I already spoken about these things. Some people normally believe that, like I said, on the bad side is that people believe that bilingual kids, or kids learning more than one language, it's gonna confuse them. Majority of people normally believe that, but if you go deeper, studies shows that in fact it doesn't it doesn't confuse the kids, because kids are still learning when they are still young. They have that capability, or their minds are quickly adapting to new things and new languages, new vocabularies. So they're gonna quickly move out of that scenario. Even if it is just like confusion, it's gonna be for a temporary reason. Okay, so that is the ugly side, whereby some people normally believe that, like the society, or maybe the stereotypes people, or the myth, let me say the myths, where people believe that, oh, the kids will grow being confused in terms of language, but that is not the true. Okay, now another myth that people normally tend to believe is that they're gonna have that delay in terms of actually learning the languages, or learning the language. Yes, they might have at a certain point, but that doesn't mean that it's gonna be all of their life. When they grow up, they're gonna actually be able to adapt to new vocabulary, and also fasten in terms of learning. So that is just a myth, and it is not the bad side. Okay, now another ugly thing is that sometimes bilingual kids are, like, when they have, or when they mingle with other kids, people who are bad, who are not welcoming, they might want to reject them, in terms of actually just saying that, oh, because they don't speak our language, we cannot play with them, or we cannot allow our kids to play with them. So we might have those bad characters from other people, or from other society, who are thinking that because the kids are not learning their language, they cannot play with them. So that is the ugly side. So as a parent, it is so important to understand your kids, and also to try as much as possible to be patient, to learn which language they want to actually speak, and encourage them in every way possible, so that they can feel comfortable even when they are learning. If they make mistake in terms of learning the language that you want them to learn, do not punish them, do not be harsh on them. Be patient, try as much as possible to have activities to make the language more fun, and also just to give them that boost and understand them as kids. Okay, so guys, there you have it for today. I hope this video was very useful to some of you who are into bilingualism, who are raising kids who are speaking more than one language. If you're liking my content, you want to hear more, as usual, I always ask you to do me one favor: like this video, subscribe to my channel. Until next time again, bye. Good girl. Benim anneciğim. Güzel kızım. Güzel kızım. Ben çok 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 seviyorum. Oh. Why? What